I'm Oscar, 31. I was halfway through debugging a cluster of legacy code when I decided to check my apartment's security feed. It was a normal Wednesday afternoon, or at least it should have been. Instead, I watched my parents let themselves in. Normally, I wouldn't think twice. I'd given them a spare key for emergencies. But my dad was holding a tape measure. At first, I thought maybe he was fixing something. But no, he started measuring my walls, not casually. Every doorway, hallway, and corner. My mom had her phone out taking notes, tilting her head like she was imagining furniture arrangements. Then Cody walked in behind them, smirking as if he owned the place. "This is perfect," he said, dropping onto my leather couch with his feet on the coffee table. "Way better than that dump I've been crashing at. And Oscar's never here anyway, always at the office." My mom nodded, still taking notes, and my dad measured more. "We'll need to move the desk out of the second bedroom. That can be Cody's room. Oscar can work from the office like everyone else," my mom said. I sat there, frozen, staring at the screen. My dad measured every doorway and hallway meticulously. Once Cody's stuff is moved in, Oscar won't make a scene. He'll understand family comes first. We just need to do it while he's in San Francisco for that conference next month, my dad added. I couldn't believe it. They were plotting to take over my apartment. And yet, instead of shock or anger, I felt a strange sense of relief. Finally, I had them on camera. Finally, I had proof. Growing up in Seattle as the older son of Philip and Janet Kowalski, I learned early on that I wasn't the favored child. Dad ran a successful import business. Mom managed rental properties. We had money, a nice house, and all the trappings of a comfortable life. But I didn't have parents who really saw me. Cody arrived when I was 8, and suddenly, the responsible firstborn was overlooked. Everything I did was just expected, while Cody got basketball camp, brand new toys, and constant attention. He got a brand new Audi for his 16th birthday. I worked at Best Buy to buy a used truck. I got into MIT, but was subtly encouraged to pick a practical state school. Cody barely graduated high school, and they celebrated as though he had cured cancer. I worked my ass off through MIT, through years of grinding at tech companies, and finally building my own startup. 3 years ago, I bought my downtown Seattle apartment, a corner unit with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. It was proof that I didn't need their approval. And yet a small part of me still wanted it, so I gave them a spare key. That key was about to cost them everything. 6 months ago, after my mom borrowed my grandfather's vintage Rolex, something precious to me, and the only thing I had from the one grandparent who cared, I installed a full security system. Cameras, motion sensors, the works. 3 weeks later, I found that same Rolex on Cody's wrist in an Instagram photo. He claimed he bought it with his business earnings, which was just whatever MLM scheme he was failing at while mom and dad funded his lifestyle. Since then, I'd been documenting everything. Every dismissive comment, every time they chose Cody over me, every conversation where I was expected to bend while Cody benefited. And now, they handed me all the evidence I needed to expose them. I texted Cody, "Hey man, wanna grab dinner this weekend? Been too long." After a short pause, he replied, "Yeah dude, sounds good. Mom and dad free too?" "Sure, bring everyone. I'll cook at my place Saturday." 4 days to prepare. 4 days to make sure this confrontation would leave no wiggle room. I spent those days going through financial records. Loans Cody had never repaid. Screenshots of failed businesses they'd funded for him. Bank statements proving I footed the bill for vacations, dinners, gifts, while Cody contributed nothing. I even had Nicole, Cody's girlfriend, working with me. He'd maxed out her credit cards, $40,000 total, claiming it was for business investments. Nicole had every receipt, every statement, every piece of evidence ready. For months, I had been planning every detail, where they would sit, what I would say, how to keep my composure while exposing decades of favoritism and fraud. Saturday arrived. My apartment was spotless, professional. Every folder of evidence ready. Cody and my parents showed up at 6. Cody walked in with the same smirk he had on camera, acting like he already owned the place. Nicole was with him, giving me a small nod. She was in on it. Dinner started. Cody dominated the conversation, bragging about his latest business ventures. My parents nodded along, clearly proud. I waited calmly. "So, brother," I said finally, "how's the apartment hunting going?" They exchanged glances. Dad jumped in. "Maybe you could help your brother out. You've got that extra bedroom collecting dust. The office." Mom added, "Family helps family, Oster." I sipped my drink slowly. Interesting, because I could have sworn I saw you all here earlier this week, measuring my walls, planning where to put Cody's stuff without asking me. Silence. Cody's smirk faltered. Dad's jaw tightened. Mom opened her mouth. "I have security cameras," I continued. "Full coverage. Installed them after Mom borrowed Grandpa Kowalski's Rolex. Remember that?" Cody went red. "Those were just for the front door," he muttered. I played the audio from my phone, them planning to move Cody in while I was away. Nicole leaned forward, furious. Dad tried to argue. I cut him off. Explain how Cody has been using my apartment as his business address without asking. Explain the $40,000 he maxed out on Nicole's cards. Explain the LLC he registered here for scams. Explain the FTC investigation. Everything is documented. Mom cried. Dad tried to argue. Cody stammered. I dropped folder after folder on the table. Loans, financial records, texts, emails. Every time they chose him over me. Finally, I walked to the door. "Get out. Leave your keys on the table. If you contact me or come near this apartment again, I'll file restraining orders. Cody, Nicole's lawyer is already handling everything." Cody stormed out, rage on his face. Nicole followed but paused, mouthed "thank you," and left. Mom and Dad followed slowly. Dad said quietly, "You'll regret this. When you're alone, we won't be there." "Good," I said. "I've been alone my whole life. I won't really notice." After they left, I locked the door, looked out at the skyline, and felt the apartment was truly mine. My sanctuary. The week that followed was chaos. But the good kind. Nicole's lawyer filed charges. The FTC opened a case. Federal agents executed a search warrant on Cody's apartment. Everything came to light. For the first time, I felt completely free. Caught my parents and brother planning to move Cody into my apartment while I was away. Used security cameras, financial records, and evidence from his girlfriend to expose their actions. Confronted them at dinner, revealed Cody's scams, and cut off all contact. Legal actions are underway, and I finally feel free in my own home.